All right, good morning. So we'll go ahead and get going. We're going to start on our backs. Let's just take a moment, let everybody catch up, or join us, I guess. Let's relax for a bit, close down those eyes. Rest one hand on the stomach, one hand on the chest. Now you can bring those knees together, feet a little bit wider, or if you want, really relax here, just bring the legs all the way out. Maybe it's been a little bit of a morning already. You just need to completely relax for just a moment before we get moving into this power yoga. Big breaths in through the nose. Really expand through those lungs. And exhale out through the nose. And a little bit bigger breath in. Maybe a natural breath. So breathing into that lowest part of the lungs. Filling up those lungs completely with air. And then exhaling that breath out just nice and slow. Now wherever you're at, so knees bent or legs straight, go and draw that low back into the mat. So maybe it's already touching, but press it into the mat. So we want that core to engage a little bit more. Not so much that we're pulling that belly button down to the spine, but that we're just pulling that spine down towards the mat so our core tightens up. Now we're going to continue to take that big breath in through the nose and out through the nose, but keep that core engaged. Just a little bit more forceful breath. Big breath in. Hold that breath in. Then press that breath out. Again, in and out through the nose. And now let's hug those knees into the chest. Maybe give it a little rock from side to side. Okay, now let's round that spine, bringing the forehead to the knees. Then we'll extend those legs out, reach those arms overhead, reaching those legs out while you can squeeze those feet together. And so the core is really tight, but we're also tight to those glutes through those legs. Exhale, curl it back in, round that spine. Inhale, extend it out. Exhale, curl it in. Reach it out on that inhale. Exhale, curl it in. Let's go one more time. Reach it out long. Exhale, curl it in. And just give that gentle rock from side to side. And now from here, we're going to bring those arms down by the sides. Walk those shoulder blades together. Keep that core really tight. Low back pressing into that mat. Okay, now from here, we're going to extend those legs out. So if you're having a hard time bringing your legs all the way down here, keeping that back flat, maybe you're up here. Okay, that's fine. Okay, it's okay to have your hands underneath your hips, but I really want you to work on keeping that spine flat. That's kind of what that does, is it lifts those hips up so you can get your back down, but we want to really strengthen those core muscles, so I want you to try to do it on your own. So I just keep my hands right by my sides. Okay, now from here, we're going to do little flutter kicks, okay? So the head can stay down. If you feel like it's easier to keep the low back down, lifting those shoulders up, that's an option too, okay? All right, so here we go. Extend those legs out. Breathing here. We'll go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hug those knees in. All right, we got 2 more sets of those flutter kicks. But between each round, we're going to do a hip bridge. So press into those feet, rolling that tailbone up. So think if you kind of have like a circle, a half circle, we're rotating those hips, the tailbone up that way first, and then continue to lift. So the more we rotate that tailbone up, the more of that squeeze an activation we're going to get through those glutes. So that belly is pulling down, tailbone is rotating up, and roll it back down. So that tailbone will be the last thing that lowers. Good. And arms by those sides, extend those legs out, and we'll kick. Go for 10, 9, 8. If you want to make it harder, reach those arms overhead. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hug it in. And lower those feet down. Lifting that tailbone up. Roll it up one vertebrae at a time. Pressing into those heels. We're also gripping that big toe. Balls of the feet into the mat. Good. Scoop that tailbone up a little bit more, core tight. And slowly roll it on down. Now again, extending those legs out. Maybe reaching those arms overhead. Here we go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hug it in for a breath. And lower those feet down. Rotate that tailbone up, lifting those hips up high. And slowly roll it back down. Now hug those knees in. Let's rock forward and back. So maybe get a lot of momentum here. And then you'll plant those feet and come into a squat first, and then maybe up into that forward fold. So nice flat back on that inhale. And exhale, slide those hands down as we fold. Just let that head hang nice and heavy. Maybe give it a little sway from side to side. And then let's do a slight bend to those knees, flatten out that back, rise all the way up to standing. Reach it up nice and tall. Be interlacing those fingers, bring those palms to point up, just lean it back. A little stretch through those shoulders. And then we can release those arms down as we find that fold. Inhale that flat back. Exhale, plant those hands down. Step it on back to a plank. We're gonna come into a full side plank. So drop those heels to the right. Left arm reaches up. Lower that hand down to the other side, heels to the left. Right arm reaches up. Lower that hand down, shifting that weight forward as we lower. So maybe you stop in that low plank. Flip the toes, lifting that chest up for that cobra, or maybe you press those hips up into that upward facing dog. And then exhale, send those hips up and back into that down dog. Another breath or two here, pedaling those feet out. If movement's what you need, or if you just want to be really still, pressing that tailbone up, pressing the heels down, that big stretch to the backs of the legs. Good, now come onto the toes. Bend those knees, step or float those feet, top of the mat. Half lift on that inhale. Exhale, fold. Bend into those knees, rise up. Interlace those fingers, palms up, so reaching those palms up and back. Then exhale, release those hands as we fold. Half lift on that inhale. Exhale, plant those hands, step or hop those feet back, go right into that side plank. Left arm reaches up. And lower down. Other side, right arm reaches up. Lower down, shift that weight forward, moving into that vinyasa, so lower. Inhale, lifting that chest. And exhale those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Another breath. We'll inhale on the toes. Bend those knees, step up really lightly. Float those feet, top of the mat. Inhale the half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Interlace those fingers, reaching it back. And exhale, release those hands as we fold. And flat back on that inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, separate, hop the feet back. Side plank to the right. Center, over to the left. Center, shift it forward, lower down. Inhale, lift. And exhaling those hips up and back, downward facing dog. One more breath. Let's come onto the toes. Bend those knees, step or hop those feet top of the mat. Half lift on that inhale. Exhale, fold. Let's bring those toes a little bit closer together so big toes can touch, heels can stay separate. Inhale, rise up to standing, reach it up tall. Exhale, sink those hips down into that chair. Sink those hips down as low as you can, relaxing through those shoulders. Sit a little lower. So the knees are coming forward as those hips sink back, chest is up tall. Now we're gonna hover that chest right above our thighs. We're gonna lift those toes up. Find that balance. Not lifting the toes up, we're lifting the heels up. Oh boy, it's early. Now lower those heels down, reaching those arms up overhead. Sink back into that chair. And now exhale, hover that chest, lifting those heels. Lower the heels, arms will reach up, sink the hips down. Last time, hover that chest, arms reach back, lift up high onto those heels. Now lower the heels down, reach those arms up, stand all the way up, press those hips forward. Let's interlace those fingers now, side stretch over to that right side. And those palms are facing up. Inhale it up, exhale to the left. And inhale, reach it back up and find that forward fold. Half lift on that inhale. Exhale, plant those hands. You're gonna step or hop it back to a plank. Side plank over to that right side. If you wanna get fancy with it, you can lift that left leg up, just a little bit more of a challenge. And then come back to center, over to that left side. And maybe we lift that right leg up. And come back to our front plank. Lower down. Inhale, lift. And exhaling those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Then bring those feet together. Inhale, that right leg is gonna lift. Exhale, curl that right knee to that right elbow. So pull that knee up as high up onto that tricep as you can get it. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, that knee across towards that left elbow, left tricep. Send it back up. And exhale, curl that knee to those paws in that front plank. Stepping that foot through. Inhale, let's rise up. So back heel's gonna stay lifted, core stays tight. Bend into that front knee. You hold here, sink a little deeper. Now exhale, we're gonna hover that chest, reaching the arms back, really strong through that back leg. Straighten it out a little more. Inhale, those arms come back up. And exhale, hover. Inhale, reach it up. Now this time we're gonna hover that chest, we're gonna float that back leg up, finding that balance. So coming into that warrior three, hips square off, pressing through that back heel, reaching through those fingertips. One more breath. And take that big step back. We'll go into a warrior one this time. So back heel grounds down, toes are turned out just slightly. Arms are reaching up, core is tight. Sink into that front knee, ripping through those toes, lifting through those arches. So maybe you're putting a little bit more weight onto that outside edge of the foot. But we're still really gripping that big toe into the mat. Now draw those elbows down, interlace those fingers, open up through that chest, big stretch to the shoulders. Let's hold it here for a breath, let it release. Exhale, we'll fold it forward. And release those hands, rise back up. Exhaling those hands down, step it back. So maybe you keep that leg lifted, lower. Now both legs lower down as we lift that chest up. And then exhaling those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Other side, inhaling that left leg up. Exhale, curl that left knee high up to that left tricep. Inhale, send it back up. Exhale, that knee across to that right elbow. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, curl that knee to the nose. Stepping that foot through. The back heel stays lifted. Inhale, reach those arms up. The core is tight, so we don't want to be arched. Tight through here, rib cage draws down, and then we can reach those arms back maybe a little bit more. Now exhale, hover that chest, reaching the arms back. Inhale it back up. Exhale, hover. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale, we'll hover that chest, floating that back leg up, coming into that warrior three. So reaching through those fingers, core tight, press through that back heel. One more breath. And then we'll take that big step back into that warrior one. Arms are reaching up overhead. So left hip draws back, right hip pulls forward, pressing into that back heel. Shoulders are softened down. And we'll draw those elbows down, interlace those fingers, open up that chest. And pause it here for a breath. And then exhale, we'll fold. Maybe bringing that shoulder all the way down towards that knee. That might be a little bit much this morning, that's okay. Maybe you just lift that chest to hover over that side. Then releasing those hands, rise back up. Lower the hands down to the mat. Step it back to our plank. Maybe that three-legged plank as we lower down. Inhale, lift. And exhaling those hips up and back. Downward facing dog. You come onto the toes. Bend those knees, step or hop those feet, top of the mat. Toes together to touch. Inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, sink it down into that chair. Good. We'll hover that chest. Lift those heels up. Good. Lower the heels down. Arms reach up. Exhale, hover, lifting the heels. Come back to our chair. Last one, hover, lift the heels. Then back to our chair. Good. Now we'll straighten those legs as we fold. Flat back on that inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, step or hop those feet back. Come into that side plank, over to that right side. Left arm reaches up. Maybe we lift that left leg up. Come back to our front plank, to the other side. Maybe that right leg lifts up. And lower it down. Front plank, vinyasa. And exhaling those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Feet together, inhale, right leg lifts. Bring that right knee to that right tricep. Inhale, send it back up. Exhaling it across to that left elbow. Inhale it back up. And exhale, curl that knee and step that foot through. Inhale, both arms reach up. Exhale, hover that chest, reach the arms back. Inhale it up. Exhale, hover. Inhale, reach it up. Now this time, we're gonna keep those arms up overhead. We're gonna hover that chest. We're gonna lift that back leg up. Okay, so we're gonna into that warrior three, but we're gonna add on to it here. So hips are squared off. We're reaching through those fingers. If you need a little help with balance lowering, just lower those hands down to the mat. Now from here, we're gonna curl that knee and draw those elbows back. A little bit of a crunch, a little rounding through the spine. Now we're gonna extend that leg back, arms reach forward, flatten out that back. Exhale, curl it in. Inhale, reach it out. Last time, curl it in. Reach it back out. Then now lower that back heel down. Warrior one stance. Drawing those elbows down. Interlace the fingers. Open up through that chest. And exhale, fold. Release those arms. Rise back up. Lower the hands down. Send it back to our plank. Vinyasa. And exhale, hips up, down dog. Feet together. Inhale, that left leg lifts. Bring that left knee to that left tricep. Inhale it back up. Exhale that knee across. Inhale, send it back up. Exhale, curl that knee to the nose. Step that foot through. Inhaling those arms up into that crescent lunge. Exhale, hover the chest, reach the arms back. Inhale it up. Exhale, hover. Inhale, reach it up. Now the arms are gonna stay over the head this time as we hover that chest, lifting that right leg up. So again, pressing through that heel, reaching through those fingertips. Exhale, curl it in, crunch. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, curl it in. Inhale, reach it out. Last time, curl it in. Reach it back out. Back heel lowers down. Arms are reaching up into that warrior one. Draw the elbows down. Interlace the fingers. Open up that chest. And exhale, fold. Humble warrior. And release those hands. Rise back up. And lower the hands down to the mat. Send it back to our plank. lower down. Inhale, lift. And exhale those hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Then lower onto the knees. Let's come onto your backs. We start, actually stay seated. We're not gonna come to the backs quite yet. We're gonna do something first. So we're gonna reach those arms forward, squeeze those legs together first. We're gonna roll it back one vertebrae at a time. Just really, really slow and controlled. Try and keep those heels down, but if they lift, that's okay. That's lower. Reach those arms up overhead, big stretch. Now we're gonna come back up. So reach those hands forward. Start to round through that spine. Try not to use any momentum. We're gonna come forward. We're gonna reach for those toes. And then we're gonna roll it on back. Really, really slow and controlled. Feel each individual vertebrae. And reach those arms up, big stretch. And roll it back up. This will be our last one. And reaching for those toes. And roll it on back. But try and see how slow you can go. Good. And big, big reach through those fingertips, through those toes. Good. Now let's hug that right knee into the chest and twist it across so that right arm reaches out, left hand will guide that knee across the body. Back to center. Switching sides, hug that left knee in. Right leg just extends out. And then we'll twist it across. And we'll bring that knee back to center. Hug both knees in. Let's rock forward and back. Coming into that seat. Legs crossed. Sitting up nice and tall. Closing down those eyes. Just pause it for a few breaths. Shoulders relax down. The chest is lifted. A big breath in through the nose. And out through the nose. A couple more times. Blink those eyes open. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your day. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow noon for recharge. All right, have a good one.